I'm Pablo Zalba, I'm MEP, I'm Vice Chair of the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee.
Now, this election coming up, how do you expect it to go from your party's perspective?
Well, we are quite optimistic because we start the campaign with not very good perspectives, but thanks to the good candidate we have, thanks that we are defending a very coherent speech, I think polls are improving and we are going to have a very good and proper result.
Obviously, there's a lot of interest within Spain, but also within Europe about Catalonia. Does that give your opposition parties a kind of a boost, really, an extra chance? Because there's so much publicity about the possibilities that might happen.
Well, obviously, we have to be aware that these elections are elections only to elect the next parliament and the next president of the Catalonia region. It's true that two parties have agreed to join the forces and to claim the independence. This is not possible, according to the Spanish law. Is not possible. But not only that, I think that it's important to say that a process like this in the European Union has no support at all.
If those parties do win in Catalonia, does that not suggest the will of the people is to go from here to a referendum? And if that's the case, is that something that you would accept?
Well, I insist these elections are to elect the new parliament and to elect the new parliament of the region of Catalonia. I have no doubt that these parties who defend the independence are not gonna win in number of votes. And if they win, I have no doubt that nothing will happen, because I think that a politician elected by the citizens, the first thing he has to do is to comply with the law. And according to the current law, it's not possible for the Catalan parliament to declare the independence. So I'm pretty sure that no matter the result is, nothing will change in Catalonia, but the frustration these parties will create in the people. But the law is clear, and I think no politician shouldn't comply the law.
A lot of people try to make comparisons between Catalonia and Scotland. Would it not be better to go down the Scottish route and give the people of Catalonia a referendum if that's what this election indicates they want, because they support in large numbers pro-independence parties?
But I think that the law in Spain is clear, the constitution is clear, so the referendum that took place in Scotland cannot be applied to Spain or any region in Spain. Having said that, I firmly believe that there is a party, there is a region who is interested in changing this law. They can, through the procedures that are admitted in the constitution law in Spain, to try to change the law. But change the law does not mean what President Mas wants to do in Catalonia is not to comply the law.
If there is the weight of support for a pro-Catalan movement, would you accept and support that it's time to look again at the constitution?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to celebrate the elections. I firmly believe that the number of voters that are going to support parties who defend the independence are going to be fewer than the votes that are going to take the parties who do not defend the independence. Having said this, I think that the Spanish government and the party who support the Spanish government, Partido Popular, are always willing to dialogue with the Catalonian parties and those especially who defend the independence, but always in the frame of the current law. Always in the frame of the current law, because there is no alternative outside the law. I think that we all politicians, the first thing we must act is to comply with the law. And if we don't like the law, we may try to change the law, but never not comply the law.
Just a word finally about the EU. This was an issue in the Scottish referendum. If Scotland voted yes to independence, would it mean that Scotland would have to reapply for EU membership, or would it be automatic? It's a very hypothetical situation, but in Catalonia, if in some future stage it went down the independence route, would Catalonia anyway have to reapply to become a member of the European Union, in your view?
There are no doubt about that. Catalonia will have to reapply to get into the EU. This is very clear. Everyone from the President of the European Commission to the President of the Council to the different Prime Ministers all over the EU have stated clearly that any region, any nation who become independent, the minute later they become independent, they are out of the EU and they have to queue again to become a new member of the EU. So that's something that there is no doubt at all.